Hope that you are well. Hope that you're well. And if you're not well, I hope that you're able to bring presence, you know, whatever's happening for you. Watching tinnitus quieten over time is like watching a ball stop bouncing on rocky or uneven terrain. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, perhaps it's obvious, but let me give a bit of an explanation of why it's like a ball stopping bouncing and why it's on uneven or rocky terrain. So I find that as tinnitus or tinnitus quietens, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And sometimes it keeps going up and down longer than you think it's almost done. It's almost done going up. And then if you watch closely, it just keeps going up and down until it finally stops. And why is it on uneven terrain? Well, because then the ball can roll some. Let's say it's on a rocky slope, it can bounce a weird way and bounce up higher, and then the process kind of has to go again until it gets to the bottom of that rocky terrain. And so that's what it's kind of like, oftentimes for folks, and myself included, in my own personal experience. I've gotten to quiet many times, and I know that was due to work that I've done to create a healthy state in my life, to create a deeply relaxed state in my life. And it's not always possible to keep that, but sometimes it gets triggered. But the more that I work to create these healthy and relaxed states, the more that I work on all the factors that are helping me to calm my nervous system, my subconscious mind, the more robust my sense of wellness gets, the more robust my nervous system gets. It gets stronger. So maybe I've gotten to quiet a couple of times. Not maybe I have, but as an example, I've gotten to quiet a couple of times, and then something has happened. I get waked up in the middle of the night, or I get stressed out and I eat some ice cream, and it triggers me. And and yet there have been times where I've been strong enough to eat some ice cream and it didn't. So I it's like I have to learn to listen to myself. It's like, okay, now I'm not going to eat that store bought keto ice cream even though it's keto. If I'll make ice cream out of the ingredients like my goat milk and the things that I know I can have. If I'm gonna, I'll just do what's best all the time. It gets to that point. And I know some people, that sounds awful to have to do what's best all the time, and maybe it's not worth it to you, sincerely. And for some of us, yet it is. It's just it's so important to us to create that sense of wellness in our lives. And as I mentioned in the beginning, that I hope that even if your symptoms are not completely better, even if you haven't found a solution, that you're able to have a sense of presence and joy in your life, right? To make a decision, to go ahead and and have your joy even with chronic symptoms, and see where it goes. Bring in those soulful qualities of self-forgiveness and gratitude and presence, and foster and cultivate those in your life. That's a part of getting well. And even if getting well means being able to be with what's happening joyfully, rather than thinking that your symptoms have to limit your life. Symptoms are some kind of signal, and if they haven't stopped, then we just haven't figured out what that signal is wanting to have happen. And sometimes chronic pain, which tinnitus could be viewed as a form of chronic pain and works in some ways the same as chronic pain. It could be a signal that's kind of stayed on, like a phantom limb or something. And there are ways of working with that too. Uh, and so that could be something to explore for you if you really feel like you've tried everything and things haven't been working. For me, I notice that the things do work, but sometimes it's just hard to do all the things that are helpful. It can be challenging, right? During the first several months of my tinnitus, I was able to take some time to have a sort of a vision quest and sleep on the earth and do lots of grounding, do lots of yoga, lots of meditation, go to a lot of healthcare practitioners. And over time, it helped me a lot. And as I integrated things back into my life, like going back to work again and going on trips to California again, on long plane flights and things like that, that ball bounced up and down. That ball I was talking about earlier in the video, the tinnitus, um, going up and down. And so it's time to do some more yoga. It's time to do some more acupuncture. And it's time to integrate those things like yoga, meditation, acupuncture into my life with my work, which uh, for me it could be a challenge. For a lot of people it could be a challenge. I think that's why some people live at like an ashram where they can just really focus on yoga and have a community to do it. But to do it on your own or to make it to a class all the time can be challenging. But uh you know we need our downtime and things like that too. But so there are different things that can kind of cause that ball to bounce or help it to get on more of an even plane and to not bounce quite as much. And yeah, I'm walking some goats if you haven't noticed. And that's one of the things, being around them, it's such a heart connection. It's so relaxing and it's so therapeutic. And I love these goats. I really do. And Devin, my wife, my my partner in healing arts work, my best friend, she wanted to get these goats. She had this idea and she found someone who could help us learn about taking care of them and she got them. And I gave up. I put up the cash. she she took me to go and get them during that time while I was having my vision quest out here on the earth. And she built the pen over there. My son helped a lot and I helped a little, but she really built it. I mean, it was amazing. Because it's really hard to get fence posts into the ground out here, manually at least. Maybe with some machine that we don't have yet, we could do it. But yeah, she was out here pounding those fence posts into the ground with this. I forget what the thing's called, but two hands, get it down into the ground. But so there's just so many different factors that can be helpful in settling that that metaphorical bouncing ball of your nervous system. And just like there's many different factors that can predispose you to tinnitus, I have a couple of them being having had Lyme disease in the past. That's a risk factor for tinnitus, and having been around a lot of loud music in my life, that's a risk factor for tinnitus. But people say that it can't quieten if you uh, the goat just decided to chase a cat. And hold on, man. As I've mentioned in some of the other videos, this is the unfenced area of the yard. So have him on a leash here and letting him graze, but we're going to fence in this part. So this back acre, so we can take him out of the pen. But anyway, many different factors, I think I was saying before I got pulled away. Yeah, so there's different risk factors, and then there's different factors that can help. But listen, that people that say that, like, well, it can't get better if it was because of hearing loss, if it was because of like, what they call an acoustical trauma, being around a loud sound. And that's just not true. That's just not true. A therapist that I work with has multiple studies. There's a lot of information coming out, and they're discovering that it has to do more with the auditory cortex of the brain, right? It's like you're hearing sounds in your brain that you normally wouldn't hear. And even if you have severe hearing loss, even if the hair cells in your ear are mostly dead, people have had their tinnitus go away. The hearing loss doesn't go away, but the tinnitus can quieten. And there are people who have severe hearing loss that don't have tinnitus. So it's much more multifactorial than just these hair cells in your ear. Trust me, it is. And you don't have to trust me. There's research, and it's coming more to the forefront. Um, so I hope this is helpful. If I haven't introduced myself, I'm Tom Kirkham, and I'm on Big Island, Hawaii. I'm a mental health counselor, and uh, I'd love to hear from you. If you have comments that you'd like to put below, if you have questions or concerns or just experiences that you'd like to share, if there's something you'd like to comment to me privately, you don't want to put it publicly, then yeah, feel free to message me. And I hope to see you there.